Imagine this. You open your email, your heart is racing, and there it is. Congratulations, you've been accepted. But here's the twist. What if I told you that one document, just one, decides whether that moment becomes your reality or just another dream?
Okay, wait, you're talking about the statement of purpose, right? Because I've heard people say it's important, but is it really that powerful?
Not just powerful, it's decisive. Your grades? Thousands of applicants have similar ones. Test scores? Same story. But your SOP, that's where you become real. That's where you either stand out or disappear.
That's kind of scary. So basically, if you mess up your SOP, all your hard work could go to waste?
Exactly. And here's the shocking part. Most students do mess it up, not because they're not smart, but because they don't understand what universities are actually looking for.
Oh, wow. So if you're watching this right now, there's a good chance you might be making those mistakes too?
And that's precisely why today's episode on Talk Easy Daily is so important. By the end of this conversation, you won't just know how to write an SOP, you'll understand how to make it impossible to ignore.
I love that. But Alex, can I be honest for a second?
Always.
Whenever I hear statement of purpose, I immediately think boring essay, formal language, big words, and pretending to sound like a robot.
And that right there is mistake number one.
Wait, seriously?
Completely. Because your SOP is not a formal essay. It's not about impressing professors with complicated vocabulary. It's a story. Your story.
That already sounds more interesting. But then why do so many SOPs feel exactly the same?
Because most people try to write what they think universities want to hear, instead of showing who they truly are.
So basically, they're trying to act smart instead of being authentic?
Exactly. Let me ask you something, and you watching right now, think about this too. If you had to read 500 SOPs in 1 week, what would make you remember one?
Probably something personal, something that feels real, like I can actually see the person behind the words.
That's it. That's the secret most people miss. Universities aren't just selecting students, they're selecting people.
Wow, okay, that changes everything. So your SOP isn't just about your achievements, it's about your identity?
Yes, and more importantly, your direction, where you've been, what you've learned, and where you're going.
Okay, now I'm curious because I've seen people start their SOP like this. I have always been passionate about. Is that good?
That line? It's probably the most overused sentence in SOP history.
Oh no, I've literally written that before.
Most people have, but here's the problem. It's vague, predictable, and instantly forgettable.
So what should you do instead?
Start with a moment, a real moment, something that pulls the reader emotionally.
Like a story?
Exactly. Let me give you a quick example. Instead of saying, I have always been passionate about computer science, you could say, the first time I wrote a line of code, it didn't work, but that failure made me more curious than success ever could.
Oh wow, that feels completely different. It makes you want to keep reading.
And that's the goal. Because here's something most applicants don't realize. The first 10 seconds of your SOP decide whether the reader is interested or just skimming.
That's intense. So your opening isn't just important, it's everything.
Exactly. And in the next part, we're going to break down the first major section of a winning SOP, the part that hooks the reader and makes them think, I need to know more about this person.
Okay, now I'm excited, because I feel like this is where most people either win or completely lose their chance.
You're absolutely right. And trust me, what you're about to learn next might completely change how you see your own story.
So don't go anywhere, because this is about to get really interesting.
So let's go deeper into this idea of the opening, because this is where most SOPs quietly fail, and the applicant doesn't even realize it.
I'm already feeling attacked, because I think I've done exactly that.
And you're not alone. In fact, let me describe a very common scenario. A student spends hours writing their SOP. They include their achievements, their grades, their goals. Everything looks correct. But when an admissions officer reads it, nothing stands out.
So it's not bad, it's just forgettable?
Exactly. And in a pool of thousands, being forgettable is the same as being rejected.
That's brutal, but also kind of fair.
It is. So let's rebuild this from the ground up. A winning SOP opening does 3 things, very quickly.
Okay, I'm listening.
First, it creates curiosity. Second, it shows personality. Third, it hints at your journey.
That sounds simple, but I feel like it's actually hard to do all 3 at once.
It is. But once you understand the structure, it becomes much easier. Let me show you how.
Yes, please.
Think of your opening like the first scene of a movie. You don't start with explanations. You start with something happening.
Like a moment but pulls you in?
Exactly. Let me give you another example. Imagine this opening. At 2 a.m., sitting in a dimly lit hospital corridor, I realized that medicine wasn't just a career, it was a responsibility.
Oh, that gives me chills. It feels real.
And notice what it does. It doesn't say, I love medicine. It shows it through a moment.
So instead of telling, you're letting the reader experience it with you.
Yes, and that's what makes it powerful. Now here's a question for you, and for you watching. What's a moment in your life that changed how you see your field?
That's actually harder than I expected. Like, I have experiences, but I've never thought about them as defining moments.
And that's the second big mistake people make. They assume their story isn't interesting.
Yeah, like, I'm just a normal student, nothing special.
Exactly. But here's the truth. Universities are not looking for extraordinary events. They're looking for meaningful reflection.
Wait, that's important. So it's not about what happened, it's about how you understood it.
Precisely. Two students can have the same experience, but the one who reflects deeply will always stand out.
That actually makes me feel better, because it means anyone can write a strong SOP if they think deeply enough.
That's exactly right. Let me give you a quick pattern you can use for your opening.
Okay, I'm ready.
Start with a moment, then briefly explain why it mattered, and finally, connect it to your field.
So it's like moment, meaning, direction.
Perfect. You just summarized it beautifully.
I'm proud of myself.
You should be. And if you're watching this, pause for a second and think, what's one moment you could use?
Actually, yeah, comment it below. I feel like that would be really interesting to see.
Exactly. And engaging like this doesn't just help you, it helps others see new ideas too.
Okay, but Alex, what if someone genuinely can't think of a strong moment?
Then you zoom in. Instead of looking for a big life event, look for a small moment that reveals something about you.
Like what?
Maybe the first time you solved a difficult problem. Maybe a conversation that changed your thinking. Maybe even a failure.
Wait, failure? You can talk about failure in an SOP?
Not only can you should, if it's meaningful.
That feels risky though. What if it makes you look weak?
That's a common fear. But here's the reality. Failure, when explained correctly, shows growth. And growth is what universities value most.
So it's not about the failure itself, it's about what you learned from it.
Exactly. Let me ask you something, and think about this carefully. Would you rather admit someone who has never failed, or someone who has failed, learned, and improved?
Definitely the second one. It feels more real.
And that's how admissions officers think too.
That's actually kind of reassuring. So your SOP doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be honest and reflective.
Yes, but with structure, because honesty without clarity can still feel messy.
Okay, now I see where people might go wrong again. They either sound fake or they sound confused.
Exactly. So let's talk about the next part. What comes after the opening?
Because I feel like this is where people start listing achievements, right?
And that's where many SOPs lose their emotional connection. They turn into resumes in paragraph form.
Oh no, I've definitely seen that.
But your SOP is not a list. It's a story with direction.
So how do you talk about your achievements without sounding like you're just listing them?
That's what we're about to break down. And this next section might be the most important part of your SOP, because this is where you prove your potential.
Okay, now I'm really curious, because this feels like the make or break moment.
It is. And what you're about to learn next will completely change how you present your experiences.
So stay with us, because this is where things start getting really powerful.
So now we're stepping into the part of your SOP where most students think, okay, this is where I show everything I've done.
Yeah, this is the impress them section, right?
That's what most people believe, and that belief is exactly what ruins this section.
Wait, what? So you're not supposed to impress them?
Not in the way you think. Let me explain. If you simply list your achievements, your GPA, internships, projects, you're not impressing anyone. You're just repeating information they can already see in your application.
Oh, so you're wasting space.
Exactly. And worse, you're wasting an opportunity.
Okay, now I'm really curious. If you're not listing achievements, what are you doing instead?
You're interpreting them.
Interpreting, like explaining what they mean?
Yes, because achievements don't make you stand out. Your thinking does.
That's interesting. So two students with the same internship could write completely different SOPs?
And the one who reflects better will always win.
Okay, I need an example. Like, what does a bad version look like versus a good one?
Perfect. Let's take a common sentence. I completed an internship at a software company where I worked on developing applications.
Sounds okay. Not amazing, but not terrible.
Exactly. Just okay. Now listen to this. During my internship at a software company, I initially struggled to understand how small coding decisions could impact an entire system. But as I worked on developing applications, I began to see how attention to detail wasn't just technical, it was critical to creating reliable solutions.
Whoa, that feels so much deeper.
And notice what changed. The achievement is the same, but now we see growth, struggle, and insight.
It feels like we're inside the experience instead of just hearing about it.
Exactly. And that's what makes the reader believe in your potential.
Okay, let me try to summarize this. Instead of saying what I did, you explain what I learned and how I changed.
That's it. And if you're watching this, ask yourself right now, are you describing your experiences or are you explaining your transformation?
That's a powerful question. Honestly, I think most people are just describing.
And that's why most SOPs sound the same.
Okay, but here's something I've always wondered. How many experiences should you include? Because some people try to include everything.
That's another big mistake, trying to say too much.
Really? I thought more achievements equals better chances?
It's actually the opposite. Depth beats quantity.
So it's better to talk about fewer experiences, but in a deeper way?
Exactly. Think about it like this. Would you rather read 5 shallow stories or 2 meaningful ones that show real growth?
Definitely the second. It's more memorable.
And that's the key word, memorable, because your SOP is competing for attention.
Okay, this is starting to click. But what about structure? Like, how do you organize this section?
Great question. Here's a simple but powerful structure you can use for each experience.
I'm ready.
Situation, challenge, action, insight.
That sounds like a story framework.
Because it is. Let's break it down quickly.
Okay,
Situation, where were you? What was happening?
got it.
Challenge, what problem did you face?
Okay, so this is where tension comes in.
Exactly. Action, what did you do about it?
That shows your initiative.
And finally, insight, what did you learn?
That's the transformation part,
Perfect. And that last part, the insight, is what most people forget.
which probably makes their experience feel incomplete.
Exactly. Without insight, it's just a story. With insight, it becomes proof of your growth.
That's such a simple shift, but it changes everything.
It really does. And here's a quick reality check for you watching. If you removed the insight from your SOP, would anything meaningful remain?
Oof, that's a tough question.
It is, but it's the kind of question that separates average SOPs from outstanding ones.
Okay, but Alex, what about people who don't have big internships or major achievements? Like, what if your experiences are pretty basic?
Then you focus even more on insight.
So it doesn't matter how big the experience is?
Not nearly as much as people think. A small project, deeply understood, is more impressive than a big experience poorly explained.
That's actually really encouraging.
It should be, because it means your potential isn't limited by your opportunities. It's revealed by your thinking.
Wow, that's powerful.
Let me ask you something, and be honest. Have you ever done something that seemed small at the time, but later you realized it taught you something important?
Yeah, actually, yes. I just never thought it was worth mentioning.
And that's exactly what many applicants overlook.
So your SOP is not about showing off, it's about showing awareness.
Exactly. Awareness, reflection, and direction.
Okay, I feel like we just unlocked a major secret.
We did. But now comes the next challenge, and this is where many strong SOPs still fall apart.
Wait, even after doing all this right?
Yes, because there's one question universities care about more than anything else.
Which is?
Why this university and why this program?
Ah, the famous question.
And most answers to this question are painfully generic.
Let me guess. This university has a great reputation and excellent faculty.
Exactly. And sentences like that are instantly forgettable.
So how do you answer it in a way that actually stands out?
That's what we're diving into next. And trust me, this part can completely change how your application is perceived.
Okay, now I'm really hooked, because I feel like this is where people try hard but still get it wrong.
You're absolutely right. And what you're about to learn next will make your SOP feel not just personal, but perfectly aligned.
Don't miss this part, because this may be the difference between getting accepted and getting ignored.
Now we've reached the part that almost every student thinks they understand, but very few actually get right.
The why this university part?
Exactly. And let me say this clearly. This is not a formality. This is not something you write quickly at the end. This section can literally decide your acceptance.
That's intense, because I feel like most people treat it like a checkbox. And that's why most answers sound exactly the same. Okay, let me try a typical one. I chose this university because of its excellent academic reputation and world-class faculty. And that sentence could apply to almost any university in the world. Ouch, yeah, that's true. Which means it tells the admissions officer nothing about you. So what are they actually looking for? Alignment. Alignment between what and what? Between your goals and what the university specifically offers. Okay, that sounds logical, but how do you actually show that? By being specific. And this is where real effort comes in. So you actually have to research the university? Not just research, you have to connect. What does that mean? It means you don't just say, this university has great research. You say, this university's research in X area aligns with my interest in Y because of Z.
Oh, so it becomes personal.
Exactly. Let me show you the difference. Here's a weak version. I am interested in your university because of its strong computer science program.
Yeah, very generic.
Now listen to this. I am particularly drawn to your university's focus on artificial intelligence, especially the work being done in ethical AI systems. My experience working on data bias during my undergraduate project made me realize the importance of fairness in algorithms, and I am eager to explore this further through your program.
Wow, that feels targeted.
And that's the word, targeted. It shows you didn't just apply randomly. You chose them for a reason.
That actually makes the applicant feel more serious, more committed.
Exactly. And universities want students who are intentional.
Okay, let me ask something from the viewer's perspective. What if you're applying to multiple universities? Do you have to write a completely different SOP for each one?
Great question. And the honest answer is yes, at least this section must be customized.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It is. But think about it. This is your future. Is it worth the effort?
When you put it like that, yeah, definitely.
And here's something important. Customization doesn't mean rewriting everything. It means adjusting your alignment.
So your story stays the same, but your connection changes.
That makes sense. But what should you actually look for when researching a university? Excellent question. There are 4 key things you should focus on.
Okay, I'm ready.
First, courses. Look at the specific subjects they offer.
So not just computer science, but the actual modules?
Exactly. Second, professors. Are there faculty members working in areas you care about?
That feels very specific, like you're showing real interest.
Yes. Third, research opportunities, labs, projects, ongoing studies.
Okay.
And fourth, unique features. Maybe it's an internship program, a collaboration, or a teaching approach.
So basically, what makes that university different?
Precisely. And then you connect those points to your own journey.
Okay, let me try to summarize this. You're not just saying, I like your university. You're saying, this specific part of your university helps me achieve my specific goal.
That's it. Perfectly said.
I feel like if someone actually does this properly, their SOP would instantly stand out.
It does, because most people don't go this deep.
Let me ask you something, and this might sound like a simple question, but how long should the section be?
Long enough to show genuine connection, but short enough to stay focused.
That's not very specific.
Let me make it clearer. Usually 1 to 2 well-developed paragraphs.
Okay, that helps.
And here's a quick tip. Quality over quantity. 1 strong, specific point is better than 3 vague ones.
That's a good reminder, because people often try to include everything.
Exactly. And when you try to say everything, you end up saying nothing clearly.
That's such a powerful line.
It's true in writing and in life.
Okay, now I have a slightly uncomfortable question.
Go ahead.
What if someone writes the section without really caring about the university? Like they just want to get in anywhere.
Then it shows.
Really?
Always. Lack of genuine interest is very easy to detect.
So you can't fake it?
Not convincingly, because authenticity has a certain depth that generic writing can't replicate.
That's actually kind of scary, but also fair.
It is. And it brings us to an important realization. Your SOP is not just about getting accepted. It's about finding the right fit.
So it's a two-way decision?
Exactly. You're choosing them just as much as they're choosing you.
That's a really healthy way to look at it.
It is, and it leads to stronger, more honest applications.
Okay, now I'm thinking. We've covered the opening, your experiences, and this university alignment part.
Yes.
What's left?
The future.
Ah, your goals.
Exactly. And this is where you answer the most important question of all. Where are you going?
And I feel like this is another place where people get very generic.
Extremely. You'll often see lines like, I want to contribute to society, or I want to become successful.
Yeah, those sound nice, but also very vague.
And vague goals don't inspire confidence.
So how do you make your future goals strong and convincing?
That's what we're about to explore next. And this part is crucial because it shows whether you're not just a good student, but a purposeful one.
Okay, now I'm really curious. Because I feel like this is where your entire story comes together.
Exactly. And if you do it right, your SOP won't just sound good, it will feel complete.
Stay with us, because this next part might completely change how you think about your future.
Now we arrive at the final piece of your SOP. And honestly, this is where everything either clicks or completely falls apart.
The future goals part, right?
Exactly. And here's the problem. Most students treat this section like a wish list.
Oh no, like I want to be successful, I want to help people, I want to make a difference?
Yes, and while those intentions are good, they're not convincing.
Because they're too general?
Precisely. Let me ask you something, and you watching this, think about it too. If someone says, I want to succeed, what does that actually mean?
Honestly, it could mean anything.
Exactly. And that's the issue. Universities are not looking for vague ambition. They're looking for clear direction.
So instead of big general dreams, you need specific realistic goals.
Yes, but with depth. Not just what you want to do, but why and how.
Okay, this sounds important. Can you break it down?
Of course. A strong goals section answers 3 questions. What do you want to do in the short term? What do you want to do in the long term? And how this program helps you get there.
So it's like a roadmap?
Exactly. And here's where it gets interesting. Your goals should feel like a natural continuation of your story.
Oh, so it connects back to everything you've already said?
Yes, your past experiences, your current interests, your future direction.
That makes the whole SOP feel complete.
Exactly. Let me give you an example. A weak version would be, in the future, I want to work in the field of data science and contribute to technological advancement.
Yeah, that sounds very standard.
Now listen to this. In the short term, I aim to deepen my understanding of data science by working on real-world problems involving data bias and decision-making systems. In the long term, I hope to contribute to building ethical and transparent AI systems that can be applied in sectors like healthcare, where fairness and accuracy are critical.
That feels so much clearer and more meaningful.
And notice it's specific, it's connected to previous experiences, and it shows direction.
It also sounds more believable.
Exactly, because clarity builds trust.
Okay, let me challenge this a bit. What if someone doesn't have everything figured out yet?
That's completely normal.
Really? Because it feels like you're supposed to have your entire life planned.
Not at all. Universities don't expect perfection, they expect clarity of thought.
What's the difference?
Perfection is knowing everything. Clarity is knowing your current direction and being honest about it.
So it's okay to say, this is where I'm heading right now, even if it might evolve later.
Absolutely. In fact, that honesty makes your SOP stronger.
That's actually a relief.
It should be, because your SOP is not a contract, it's a reflection of your current mindset.
Okay, but here's something I've seen people do. They write very unrealistic goals, like, I want to revolutionize the entire industry.
Ah, the overpromise mistake.
Yeah, it sounds impressive, but also a bit unbelievable.
Exactly, and admissions officers can sense that immediately.
So what's the better approach?
Be ambitious, but grounded.
Meaning?
Show that you have big ideas, but also a practical path.
So instead of saying, I will change the world, you say, I want to work on specific problems that could lead to meaningful impact.
Perfect. That's the balance.
Okay, I feel like this section is about showing maturity.
That's exactly what it is. Maturity in thinking, planning, and self-awareness.
Let me ask something directly to the viewer. Do you actually know why you want to study your chosen field?
That's a powerful question.
Because if you don't, it's going to show in your SOP.
It always does. Lack of clarity is very visible in writing.
So before even writing, you need to think deeply.
Yes, writing an SOP is not just a writing task, it's a thinking process.
That's such a powerful mindset shift.
It is. And here's something else. Your goals should not exist in isolation. They should connect to the university.
Oh, right, like how the program helps you achieve them.
Exactly. This creates a strong logical flow.
So it becomes, this is what I want, this is why, this is how your university helps me get there.
Perfectly structured.
Okay, I'm starting to see the full picture now. Opening, experiences, university fit, and future goals.
Yes, and when all these parts align, your SOP becomes incredibly powerful.
But I feel like there's still something missing.
You're right.
Really?
Yes, because even if you have all these parts, many SOPs still don't feel impactful.
Why is that?
Because of how they're written.
Ah, so language, tone, flow?
Exactly. The writing style itself can make or break your SOP.
That makes sense. Because even a great story can feel boring if it's written poorly.
Precisely. And this is where small details create a big difference.
Okay, now I'm really curious. What are those details?
That's what we're about to explore next. And trust me, these subtle changes can instantly upgrade your SOP from average to outstanding.
Don't miss this part, because this is where your writing transforms into something truly unforgettable.
Now we're entering a phase that most people underestimate, but this is where average SOPs quietly collapse.
You mean, even after having a strong story, good experiences, and clear goals, it can still go wrong?
Very easily, because writing is not just about what you say, it's about how you say it.
Okay, I feel like this is where people start overthinking, like using big words, formal tone, trying to sound intelligent.
And that is one of the biggest mistakes.
Really? I thought using advanced vocabulary makes you sound smarter.
Let me challenge that. If someone uses complicated words but you struggle to understand them, do they sound intelligent or confusing?
Honestly, confusing.
Exactly. And confusion is the enemy of impact.
So you're saying simple language is better?
Not just better, more powerful.
That feels counterintuitive.
It does. But think about this. Clarity creates connection, and connection is what makes your SOP memorable.
So instead of trying to impress, you focus on being clear?
Yes, clear, natural, and precise.
Okay, can you give an example?
Of course. Here's a sentence many students write. I am deeply fascinated by the multifaceted dimensions of technological innovation and its profound implications on contemporary society.
Wow, that sounds very heavy.
Exactly. Now listen to this. I am interested in how technology is changing the way we live and solve problems.
That's so much easier to understand.
And more importantly, it feels human.
So the goal is to sound like a real person, not a textbook.
Precisely. Because admissions officers are not reading to admire your vocabulary. They're reading to understand you.
That's such a mindset shift.
It is. And here's another subtle mistake. Long, complicated sentences.
Oh no, I'm guilty of that.
Most people are. But long sentences often reduce clarity.
So shorter sentences are better?
Generally, yes. They make your writing easier to follow and more impactful.
That makes sense, but how do you balance that with sounding natural?
By mixing sentence lengths, some short, some slightly longer, but always clear.
Okay, that feels manageable.
Now here's something very important. Active voice versus passive voice.
I've heard of that, but I'm not sure I fully understand it.
Let's simplify it. Passive voice sounds like this. The project was completed by me.
Yeah, that sounds awkward.
Now active voice. I completed the project.
That's much stronger.
Exactly. Active voice is direct, confident, and clear.
So your SOP should mostly use active voice?
Absolutely. It makes your writing feel more personal and powerful.
Okay, I'm starting to see how these small things add up.
They do. And here's another powerful tip. Avoid repetition.
Like repeating the same ideas?
Yes, and even repeating the same words too often.
That probably makes your SOP feel dull.
Exactly. Variety keeps the reader engaged.
Let me ask something from the viewer's side. How many times should you revise your SOP?
More than you think.
That's not very comforting.
But it's true. Great SOPs are not written, they're rewritten.
So your first draft is not supposed to be perfect?
Not even close. Your first draft is just your thoughts on paper.
And then you refine it?
Yes, you cut unnecessary parts, improve clarity, strengthen ideas.
That sounds like a process.
It is. And here's a quick challenge for you watching. After writing your SOP, try this. Remove 20% of the words without losing meaning.
That sounds difficult.
It is, but it forces you to make your writing sharper.
That's actually a great exercise.
It really is. Now let's talk about something people rarely consider. Flow.
Flow, like how the paragraphs connect.
Exactly. Your SOP should feel like a smooth journey, not a collection of separate pieces.
So each paragraph should naturally lead to the next?
Yes, think of it like a conversation.
That makes sense, especially since we're literally having one right now.
Exactly. And speaking of conversation, your SOP should feel like you're talking to the reader.
Wait, really? I thought it had to be formal.
Formal, yes, but not robotic.
So professional but still human?
Perfectly said.
Okay, let me pause for a second, because if you've made it this far, you're already ahead of most applicants.
That's true. And if you're learning something valuable, don't forget to like the video. It really helps more people discover this.
And also, I'm curious, what part of the SOP do you find most difficult? The opening, the experiences, or this writing style part?
Drop your answer in the comments. It helps us understand what you need most.
Okay, Alex, I feel like we've covered so much.
We have. But now comes something even more important.
More important than all of this?
Yes, because now we're going to bring everything together through real examples and stories.
Oh, I love that, because I feel like examples make everything clearer.
Exactly. And in the next part, we're going to walk through real SOP-style transformations, showing you exactly how ordinary writing becomes extraordinary.
That sounds incredibly useful.
It is. And trust me, once you see these examples, you'll never write your SOP the same way again.
Don't miss this next part, because this is where everything becomes real.
All right, now this is where everything clicks, because until now we've been talking about concepts, but here's the truth. Concepts don't change your writing, examples do.
Yes, this is exactly what I was waiting for, because sometimes I understand the idea, but I don't know how to actually write it.
And that's completely normal. So let's take a very ordinary SOP sentence and transform it step by step.
Okay, I'm ready.
Here's the original version. I have always been interested in business management and participated in various activities during my undergraduate studies.
Yeah, I've definitely seen sentences like this.
Now tell me honestly, how does it feel?
Flat. Like it doesn't really say anything specific.
Exactly. No emotion, no detail, no personality. Now let's upgrade it.
Let's do it.
During my undergraduate studies, I became increasingly interested in how small business decisions can create long-term impact, especially after leading a team project where our strategy directly influenced outcomes.
Okay, already better. It feels more specific.
But we're not done yet. Let's go deeper.
Wait, there's more?
Always. Listen to this. During my undergraduate studies, I became increasingly interested in how small business decisions can create long-term impact. This became clear when I led a team project where our initial strategy failed, forcing us to rethink our approach. That experience taught me that effective management is not just about planning, but about adapting under pressure.
Oh, wow. Now it feels like a story.
And more importantly, it shows growth.
I see the difference now. The first version just tells. The final version shows and explains.
Exactly. And this is the transformation you want in every part of your SOP.
Okay, can we do another one? I feel like this is really helping.
Of course. Let's take a technical example. Original version. I worked on a machine learning project during my final year.
Very basic.
Now upgraded. In my final year, I worked on a machine learning project that introduced me to the complexity of training accurate models.
Better, but still a bit surface level.
Good observation. Now let's take it further. In my final year, I worked on a machine learning project where I initially struggled to improve model accuracy. Through multiple iterations and testing, I realized that data quality mattered as much as the algorithm itself. This experience shifted my focus from simply applying techniques to understanding the data behind them.
That's such a big difference. It actually shows thinking.
And that's the goal. Your SOP should reflect how you think, not just what you've done.
Okay, let me pause for a second, because if you're watching this, you might be realizing something right now.
What's that?
That your current SOP might be too surface level.
And that realization is the first step to improving it.
Honestly, I feel like going back and rewriting everything already.
That's a good sign. Growth often starts with discomfort.
Okay, now I have a question. What about storytelling? How far can you go with it? Like, can your SOP feel like a personal story?
Yes, but with purpose.
What do you mean?
Your story should always connect to your academic and professional goals.
So it's not just storytelling for emotion, it's storytelling with direction?
Exactly. Let me show you a short example.
Okay.
Growing up, I often watched my father manage a small shop, making decisions that directly affected our family's stability. At the time, I didn't fully understand those choices, but over the years, I became curious about the principles behind them. This curiosity eventually led me to study business management.
That feels very personal, but also relevant.
And that's the balance. Personal, but purposeful.
I like that a lot.
Now let me ask you, and you watching, what's one story from your life that connects to your field?
That's such a good question.
And here's a challenge. Try to explain that story in 2 or 3 sentences.
That actually sounds harder than writing a full paragraph.
Exactly, because clarity requires precision.
Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern. Everything comes back to clarity and reflection.
Yes, those are the 2 pillars of a strong SOP.
All right, I have another concern. What if someone copies ideas or phrases from other SOPs online?
That's a dangerous move.
Why?
Because admissions officers have read thousands of SOPs. They can recognize generic or copied content instantly.
So even if it sounds good, it might actually hurt your application?
Exactly, because it lacks authenticity.
So your SOP has to be your voice.
Always. Imperfect but genuine is better than perfect but copied.
That's such an important point.
It is. And here's something else. Your SOP should evolve.
What do you mean?
The first version you write should not be the final version you submit.
So you should keep refining it over time?
Yes. Take breaks, come back, read it again, improve it.
That sounds like a process of growth, not just writing.
Exactly. Writing your SOP is like refining your thinking.
Okay, I feel like this part really made things practical.
That was the goal. Because understanding is one thing, application is another.
And now I feel like I can actually apply it.
Good. But we're not done yet.
There's more?
Yes, because now we're going to go even deeper into the advanced insights that separate a good SOP from an exceptional one.
Okay, now I'm intrigued because I feel like we've already covered so much.
We have,
But what comes next is what truly sets top applicants apart.
All right, stay with us, because this next part might be the edge you didn't even know you needed.
Now we're stepping into something most applicants never reach, and this is the difference between getting accepted and being remembered.
Wait, there's a difference?
A huge one. Getting accepted means you met the requirements. Being remembered means you stood out.
And I'm guessing the remembered ones have a much stronger chance.
Exactly, because when decisions are close, memory wins.
Okay, now I'm really curious. What makes an SOP memorable at that level?
It comes down to 3 advanced elements: depth of thinking, intellectual curiosity, and emotional subtlety.
That sounds intense. Let's break that down.
Of course, let's start with depth of thinking.
Okay.
Most applicants describe experiences. Strong applicants explain them, but exceptional applicants analyze them.
Analyze? Like, go deeper into meaning?
Yes, they don't just say what happened and what they learned. They explore why it mattered and how it changed their perspective.
Can you give me an example?
Absolutely. A normal reflection might say, "This experience taught me the importance of teamwork."
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Now listen to this. "This experience made me realize that teamwork is not just about dividing tasks, but about understanding different perspectives and aligning them towards a shared goal."
Oh, that feels more thoughtful.
And here's the next level. "This experience made me realize that effective teamwork is less about agreement and more about navigating differences. It challenged my assumption that collaboration is always smooth, and instead showed me that productive conflict can lead to stronger outcomes."
Wow, that's deep.
And that's what stands out, because it shows maturity of thought.
So instead of surface-level lessons, you explore complexity.
Exactly. Now let's move to the second element, intellectual curiosity.
That sounds important for universities.
It's critical. Universities are not just looking for students who know things, they want students who ask questions.
Oh, that's interesting.
Let me ask you, and you watching, when was the last time you were genuinely curious about something in your field?
That's a good question.
Because curiosity drives learning, and your SOP should reflect that.
So how do you show curiosity in writing?
By asking questions and exploring them.
Wait, you can include questions in your SOP?
Yes, if done naturally. For example, this project made me question how data-driven systems can remain fair in diverse contexts, a question I hope to explore further through advanced study.
That's powerful. It shows you're thinking beyond what you've done.
Exactly. It shows forward-thinking curiosity.
Okay, I love that. What's the third element?
Emotional subtlety.
That sounds complicated.
It's actually simple, but very rare. Most SOPs are either too dry or too dramatic.
Yeah, I've seen both.
Emotional subtlety means expressing feelings without exaggeration.
Can you explain that?
Sure. Instead of saying, "I was extremely passionate and deeply inspired beyond words," you show it through your experience.
So again, show, don't tell.
Exactly. For example, that moment stayed with me long after the project ended, shaping how I approach similar challenges.
That feels calm, but still meaningful.
And that's the key. Controlled emotion is more powerful than exaggerated emotion.
Okay, this is starting to feel like art.
Writing is an art, especially when it comes to personal storytelling.
Let me ask something. Do admissions officers actually notice these subtle differences?
Absolutely. They may not consciously label it, but they feel it.
So a well-written SOP creates a certain impression?
Yes, it creates trust, clarity, and interest.
That's powerful.
It is. And here's something very important: consistency.
What do you mean?
Your entire SOP should feel like it was written by the same person, with the same voice, tone, and mindset.
Oh, so no sudden changes in style?
Exactly. Inconsistent writing breaks immersion.
That makes sense. It's like watching a movie where the character suddenly acts completely different.
Perfect analogy.
Okay, let me ask something. That might be on the viewer's mind. How do you know when your SOP is done?
That's a great question.
Because I feel like you could keep improving it forever.
You could, but here's a practical way to know. You read it, and it feels clear, honest, and complete.
Complete, as in nothing feels missing?
Exactly. And also, when someone else reads it and understands your story without confusion.
So feedback is important?
Very. But choose your reviewers carefully.
Why?
Because too many opinions can confuse your voice.
Oh, so not everyone should edit your SOP?
Exactly.
Get feedback, but stay true to your message.
That's a delicate balance.
It is. And here's one final advanced insight. Your SOP should leave a lasting impression.
How do you do that?
Through your ending.
Oh, we haven't talked about that yet.
And most people underestimate it.
So the ending matters as much as the opening?
Absolutely. Because it's the last thing the reader remembers.
Okay, now I'm really curious. What makes a strong ending?
That's what we're about to explore next. And this is where your entire SOP comes full circle.
I love that, because a strong ending can make everything feel complete.
Exactly. And if you do it right, your SOP won't just end, it will resonate.
Stay with us because this final part might be the one that truly sets you apart.
This is it, the final piece. And honestly, this is where most SOPs quietly lose their power.
The ending?
Yes, because after everything you've shared, your story, your experiences, your goals, this is your last chance to leave a strong impression.
I feel like most people just summarize everything again.
Exactly. And that's the mistake.
Wait, so you're not supposed to summarize?
Not in a boring, repetitive way. Your ending should feel like a resolution, not a recap.
What's the difference?
A recap repeats what you've already said. A resolution gives it meaning and closure.
Oh, so it's like the final scene of a movie.
Exactly. You don't want the audience to feel like, okay, I've already seen this. You want them to feel something. Clarity, confidence, curiosity.
That's powerful. So what does a weak ending look like?
Something like this. In conclusion, I believe I am a strong candidate for your program and I hope to be accepted.
Yeah, that feels very generic.
And forgettable. Now listen to this. With the experiences that have shaped my perspective and the direction I am committed to pursuing, I am eager to contribute to and grow within your academic environment.
That already sounds better.
But we can go even further. Listen carefully. The experiences that have shaped my journey have not only defined my interests, but also clarified the impact I hope to create. I am eager to continue this path in an environment that challenges my thinking and allows me to grow, both academically and personally.
Wow, that feels complete.
And notice what it does. It doesn't just end the SOP. It reinforces your identity and your direction.
It also feels confident, but not arrogant.
Exactly. That balance is very important.
Okay, let me ask something. Should you mention the university again in the ending?
You can, but naturally.
So not like repeating the same reasons again?
Right. Just a subtle connection, if it fits.
Got it.
Now, here's something very important. Your ending should reflect clarity.
Meaning?
The reader should finish your SOP and think, I understand who this person is, what they've done, and where they're going.
So no confusion, no loose ends.
Exactly. Clarity creates confidence.
Okay, let me pause for a second, because if you followed everything up to this point,
You now understand something most applicants don't.
and honestly, if you're finding this helpful, take 1 second and like the video. It really supports Talk Easy Daily.
And more importantly, share this with someone who's preparing their SOP. It might genuinely change their future.
Okay, Alex, I feel like we've covered everything.
We have, but now let's bring it all together.
A full recap?
Yes, but in a way that reinforces the big picture.
Let's do it.
Your SOP starts with a moment, something real that captures attention.
Then you explain your experiences, not by listing them, but by showing growth and insight.
Then you create alignment, connecting your goals with the university.
After that, you define your future, clear, realistic, and meaningful.
And throughout all of this, you write with clarity, authenticity, and structure.
And finally, you end with a strong, confident resolution.
Exactly. That's the complete framework of a winning SOP.
When you break it down like that, it feels achievable.
It is, but it requires effort, reflection, and honesty.
Let me ask one final question for you watching.
Go ahead.
If you had to rewrite your SOP today, what would you change first?
That's a powerful question.
Because now you know what actually matters.
And that awareness is your advantage.
Honestly, I feel like this isn't just about writing an SOP.
It's about understanding yourself.
Exactly.
And when you truly understand your story, writing becomes much easier.
That's such a good way to end this.
Almost.
Wait, there's more?
Just one final thought.
I'm listening.
Your SOP is not just a document, it's your voice in a room where you're not physically present.
That gave me chills.
So make sure that voice is clear, honest, and worth listening to.
And if you do that,
You won't just apply, you'll stand out.
all right, if you made it this far, comment SOP ready so we know you're serious about this.
And don't forget to subscribe to Talk Easy Daily, because we're here to help you grow, step by step.
See you in the next episode.
And until then, keep learning, keep improving, and keep moving forward.